Okay guys, so I thought I would make a video about the videos that I've been watching of late because I have a lot of time in my hands and I'm obsessing about what's going on in the world. I don't normally watch network news, but sometimes I stumble across a video on YouTube that is of the network news variety. And what I wanted to discuss is shapeshifter. Now, I kind of come at it tongue in cheek sometimes because, well, I have a fascination with the shape-shifting reptilian thing, and while there's a part of me that thinks it could totally be true, if not for the notion that I don't know what you turn into at night when you go home. Another part of me thinks it's very interesting metaphorically, like when you consider that certain people in the media and at the top of the food chain have been known to be dubbed as psychopaths and sociopaths and not care about anything else but money, fame, and power. Now, I'm not saying that any of these people on screen are psychopaths or sociopaths. They're only in it for the money, fame, and power. But of course, that is always the rumor. And then that also pertains to the reptilian brain in terms of hoarding, like money hoarding, power hoarding, that kind of thing. Okay, that was a very, very long explanation. My other thing is that this day and age, I don't believe in a lot of really, really sensationalized conspiracy theories that border on the ridiculous, except for the reptilian one, or I don't dabble in those, only because I think that's all they are. I think a lot of those are clickbait. I think the truther movement and the conspiracy theory movement, for the most part, has been hijacked, and I think a lot of the stories are to distract us from stories about how we're getting screwed over every day by the man, or the reptilian, whatever, whoever he is, she is. But this still really, really fascinates me a lot. I think it's because it's one of the most outlandish conspiracy theories, one of the earlier ones I was introduced to by David Icke. I think if David Icke wasn't compromised back then, he definitely is now, just based on some of the things I've said. I probably should make a whole video about it because it's really, really weighing on my mind. But for the time being, I want to show you some really, really trippy images. Now, this video encompasses a trip that David Culver made to China, probably like about 2 weeks ago, just to kind of give us an update on where they're at their reopening. And I'm going to leave the link to this video down below, because if you read the comments to the video down below, they're almost just as fascinating as the video itself. In fact, more so. They talk about him repping out and tripping out in the middle picture. He goes up, oh yeah, so this guy, David Culver in the center, he goes up to talk to what he calls police officers, like, oh, badass, right? We got pushback from some police officers, but they weren't police officers, they were security guards, and even I knew that, because I was like, those do not look like police officer uniforms. So a lot of people dog CNN for being like, oh my God, you guys are just sensationalizing everything. David Culver is not nearly as badass as he seems to be. And he's a very good looking dude. He's kind of a pretty boy kind of looking dude though. But he seems like a nice guy. I mean, even if he is a reptilian, maybe he's one of the good ones, because I hear they're not bad. And even if reptilians, shape-shifting reptilians are true, which again, there's a small percentage of me believes that they could be, I've heard they're not all bad, especially the ones that live under Mount Shasta. Anyway, but that said, I always find it so fascinating when somebody glitches out on screen, especially if you look at the two people on either side of that person and maybe how they're trying to register it and adjust to it, number one. And number two, the thing that trips me out about this one so much is that the dude's face changes, but the background and his shirt and his suit doesn't change that much. It does a little bit like it could in the surrounding areas, but that could be just like waves of heat rising off a highway when it's hot, when the heat is actually on the street. Of course, you don't really see the heat on the street, so maybe that's a bad metaphor. But anyway, I just want to show you guys these images because I think they're really, really fascinating. And of course, I'll leave the link below. Okay, so this is the subtle beginning. You can see a little silver forming under his nostril, and his nostrils are kind of flaring and his nose is looking pointy. And pointy noses are kind of creepy to me. It almost looks like, oh my God, you know who it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Great Gazoo in the Flintstones. That little alien. He wasn't a reptilian, but no offense if you guys like have a pointy nose. That's not the kind of, I'm not talking about human pointy noses. I'm talking about unusually pointy reptilian noses. And then you see that patch of silver under his nose right there, and that looks scaly. You know how scales shine? So the woman in the red dress looks like, oh, you changed. And the guy on the left is like, dog, you gonna do this? You gonna go any further? He's like, yep. Uh-oh. Yep, they're noticing. The news anchors on either side are noticing he's getting a little weirder. And the city portion on the left looks a little blurry, but I think it looks blurry anyway. Let's see the first part. Yeah, kind of. The city portion behind his head on the left is kind of blurry looking anyway, so I don't think it's changed that much. Okay, so then more silver patches under his nose. Oh, and then that's a full-on freak out. And the guy on the left looking like he's about to pass out, and the woman in the red dress being like, really now? Really? You couldn't hold it? You couldn't hold it? And at first, when this first started happening, I seriously thought it was the feed, but I was just like, and you know, in all fairness, I will say that his shirt does look a little blurry and morphed, and the city on the left does look a little bit more, well, maybe not, more blurry and morphed than before. The city portion on the left, these teeny tiny buildings. No, that's pretty jacked. The city on the left looks jacked anyway. So there we go there. And then coming back a little bit normal. His left eyebrow's a little bit jacked. And the woman in the red dress looks like she's yelling at him. And the guy on the left looks dubious, like, come on, son. They look like his parents. Get yourself together. Okay, now the woman in the red dress is looking like she's clutching her pearls. And the guy on the left looks like he's just like, come on. I've had enough of this. Actually, I don't know why that guy has that expression. I mean, it's not like David Culver was saying anything offensive, but, you know, I think they might be getting a little nervous. Oh, God. That's a reptilian eye roll right there. Oh, the news anchors still ain't having it. Oh, now he's getting scared. See, I think when they get scared and they know they're doing it, it like, you know, then they get, it's like a dog smelling fear. It's like they're smelling their own fear and like repping out even more. But look at the city. No? Okay, let's see. The city on the right-hand side of him. See, but the city on the right-hand side of him is still blurry, even when his face is not that blurry. Because I'm just trying to like, I'm trying to be circumspect here. Although I guess the city does look a little bit more. No, that city looks pretty jacked. Let's see. Go back to your pretty boy self. Yeah, the city looks pretty jacked anyway, either way. So, it's just really weird. And it happened for a really long time. And you'd see, like, the news anchors did have kind of strange looks on their faces. Alien eye roll. Okay. They're like, you're still not done? Okay, now he's done. Oh, nice. They're like, they look like disapproving parents. Like, really? Really? You took us through all that and we knew you weren't going to totally shapeshift? What the hell's wrong with you? Oh, now you're doing it again. Now you're doing it again. All right. Now it looks like they're about to just have a giggle fest. No. Okay. Widening of the eyes. Oh, now the one nostril's going up. See? Now, oh, wow. Now the left nostril's really going up. Like a pointy reptilian nose with huge, large nostrils. All right. So that was David Culver. So then another thing happened that reminded me of the Serene Branson thing. I don't know if you guys remember, and I'm sorry it's like my phone is glitching out, being all blurry and shit. Let's see. But Serene Branson, she was a roving reporter for CBS News, and she did that weird thing where she just stopped being able to talk on camera, and it turned out she had a migraine, and, well, her face didn't look like that. She didn't rep out like that. Somebody was just making a joke-like video. It was kind of funny, but I do feel sorry for her if it was a migraine. But again, it's just so disorienting and arresting when that happens on live TV, whether they are repping out or not, because just everything on TV is supposed to be so polished, which is kind of why I like watching live TV sometimes, because it's actually not so polished and mistakes and shit happen, which is just amazing because everything just has such a perfect veneer when you see it on screen. It's also another reason I kind of like watching award shows too, because something could go wrong at any second. But I'm getting off track. But anyway, so most of you guys probably remember Serene Branson. I'll try and link that video down below too, because it was really, really arresting, and I've never seen anything like it, of just somebody not being able to speak on TV, but they look totally normal otherwise. And there were rumors about her that she had a stroke and she didn't, and it just turns out she said it was like a really bad migraine. But I know that people were making videos about like that she, what were they saying? It was like her MK Ultra programming was wearing off, which I suppose could be true. I mean, that could be a thing. That I'm on the fence about. Like that, I think there's a lot of clickbait to that, but also to the categories, but also to it could be like it could be a thing because people in Hollywood that they want to control and they want to be perfect, and even not in Hollywood, just on film and on TV, they could be. And obviously we know that MK Ultra is admitted to have been a thing, like a real thing having been studied. I think it was in the I think it was within the FBI. The CIA does not ring a bell. I don't think it was CIA. I think it was FBI. Oh no, it was CIA. What am I talking about? Oh my God, I'm so tired, you guys. But anyway, I'm tripping out now. At least I'm not on camera. But anyway, so it reminded me of the Serene Branson thing, and let me get to it. Okay, so this happened on the last episode of American Idol. I believe it was Sunday night. Ryan Seacrest health concerns. There was a rumor that he had had a stroke on air, which of course I don't believe because apparently he was on Ryan and Kelly Today via satellite again, although he didn't rep out there. And he took Monday off. What it says was Ryan Seacrest addressing health concern after taking Monday's episode of Live with Kelly and Ryan for exhaustion speculation began Sunday night, when the 45-year-old radio and TV host appeared to slur words and briefly had one eye appear larger than the other. I think they left out the eye. See, that's weird to me too, because usually print and internet articles are so perfect. And they don't make mistakes, verbal mistakes. Okay, so they're just saying that Ryan did not have any kind of stroke last night. So I went and I looked at the video, and I'm gonna leave just links of those videos down below as well. It was really kind of weird and eerie. This picture is a little bit blurry, but you can kind of see it's actually his right eye. Well, it's his left eye on the screen, but it's his right eye in real life, being a little bit smaller than the other. But then you get to these images right here. And I would always, if somebody said he had a migraine, I would just totally believe it, because that looks like a pain face. He's got the furrow in the brow, and the video is just so strange when you watch it. Like that picture right there. And a lot of the things I read about it say it's attributable to a droopy eyelid, like that you get when you're tired. And he's saying that he's having fatigue and exhaustion, which, I mean, it's kind of weird to think of, because if you think of him being at home and working from home all the time, then you think, well, why does he have exhaustion? But let me tell you, it could be. I mean, I don't want to rule any possibilities out and be like, oh my God, he's totally repping out. I mean, again, like I said, I'm just fascinated that any kind of glitches happen when anybody's on camera, because I'm just so used to seeing TV be all polished and perfect, although I know that American Idol was live. At least I think it was live, maybe not on the West Coast. But anyway, like, I'm just always weirded out when anything like this happens. And this looks really, really extreme, and it looks sudden. And normally when I think of somebody with a smaller eye than the other, I think of like that it's normally like that. It doesn't just change that way. And the one thing that really arrested me was that David Icke, I know again I'm going back to David Icke, he said that oftentimes when somebody is under MK Ultra mind control or has been traumatized, one eye will be smaller than the other. But like, I always thought that it was a permanent thing and that it was kind of subtle. Although one time I was on the bus and I saw this guy get on the bus and his eyes looked exactly like this, and he was just walking into the back of the bus. So there are people whose eyes are totally asymmetrical like this. But Ryan Seacrest is kind of a pretty boy, so he wouldn't have a career if his eyes were like this all the time. Unless we got progressive, yo. But he's actually a pretty nice guy. Like, I've talked to him before because I used to call into his radio show. Oh my God, the cat's like not happy. Are you not happy that I'm doing an expose on Ryan Seacrest, even though I'm not accusing him of anything? So it's really weird. I mean, it was kind of freaky to watch, and he did I was having trouble hearing what he was saying, but he did kind of slur some of his words. In a statement to people, representatives for the host expressly denied that he had suffered a stroke and said he was simply dealing with the stress of doing his work from home. Then again, it's been pointed out that there are a lot of single mothers with kids who work 2 jobs, and, you compare them to celebrities that are constantly having exhaustion, and they don't have stuff like this happen to them a lot that we know of. Not meaning to make light of any of those things. Let's see. Like many people right now, Ryan is adjusting to the new normal and finding work at home balance with the added stress of having to put on live shows from home. I don't know. I would think doing shows away from home would be stressful, unless you just hate being at your home. But I don't know. I'm not Ryan Seacrest. Between Live with Kelly and Ryan, American Idol, On Air with Ryan Seacrest, and the Disney film sing-along specials, he has been juggling 3 to 4 jobs over the last few weeks, and he's in need of a rest. I think they just should have gone that he had a migraine, because he really looked in pain. And after the Serene Branson thing, that excuse totally would have flown. So I looked up fatigue and just what are the physical symptoms of it. Well, I looked up exhaustion, but it came up with fatigue. So it says, fatigue can cause a vast range of other physical, mental, and emotional symptoms, including chronic tiredness or sleepiness, headache, which is what I should have gone with, dizziness, sore or aching muscles, muscle weakness, slow reflexes and responses, impaired decision-making and judgment, moodiness, such as irritability. I thought that's what moodiness was, but okay. I'm not very nuanced in the words. I actually like to look words up in the dictionary to get the exact meaning of them sometimes, especially when I'm reading poetry. All right. Impaired hand-to-eye coordination, appetite loss, reduced immune system function, blurry vision, short-term memory problems, poor concentration, hallucinations, reduced ability to pay attention to situation at hand. Low motivation. Okay. Well, we can't really prove any of those things. Here's a nice little chart with a cute little man whose posture and back has gone out somehow, though I don't think that's a sign of exhaustion. Muscle pain, headache, thirst, excessive sweating, hair loss. Well, Cresty doesn't have any hair loss. The Crestinator. Digestive problems, frequent colds, pain in the jaw, change of body weight, memory impairment. Unless you're forgetting how to talk, but... Okay, so I looked up one eye gets smaller when tired. This is what I Googled. Fatigue can have causes that aren't due to Fatigue can have causes that aren't due to underlying disease. Examples include lack of sleep, heavy exertion, jet lag, a large meal, or aging. Oh, I see. They're just saying it could be attributable to other things. So I found dry eyes and lazy eye, and then I didn't really find too much, but then I looked up some more. So why is my one eye getting smaller? If you have ptosis, the drooping eyelid narrows your eye's opening, which makes your affected eye appear smaller than normal. You may also lose the crease, fold of skin that normally lies between your upper eyelid and eyebrow. This can cause tension, headaches, and give your eyes an odd, surprised appearance. So you can get that, but it doesn't say it's like temporary, Okay, so then I looked up another article. When we get tired, then it may happen that one eye seems to be smaller than the other. So I guess it can happen when you're tired, but that seems sudden. Okay, so upper eyelid asymmetry when tired. So a kid asked, I'm going to call him a kid, I don't know if he's a kid. He asked, I guess it was on a doctor's forum, the question about having a smaller eye. So the first doctor says, thank you for your question. It would be helpful if you could post some pictures, Okay, it's very typical for other eyes to change shape when tired. One may become heavier and droopier than the other, therefore appearing smaller. This happens only when you are tired. If this happens only when you are tired, I would suggest it not being a problem. However, if this is not the case, please make sure you find a reputable and qualified eye surgeon who can assess you properly to give you a realistic idea of the cause and what outcome can be achieved. Upper eyelid surgery, where extra skin and fat in the upper eyelid can cause the eyes to feel and look tired. Taken to the extreme, the extra skin can hang so much that it can hamper your vision and cause discomfort. Eyelid surgery combined with eye bag removal can effectively reduce excess skin from the upper and lower eyelids to leave you wider, more youthful looking eyes. Okay. So then this doctor says, thank you for sharing your question. It's very common for individuals to notice one or both eyelids drooping when tired. If this is the only time you have a droopy eyelid, you should ignore it. Otherwise, see an experienced eyelid surgeon. Oh, man. Well, Seacrest is on TV. I call him Cresty. Cresty's on TV, so he best not be ignoring that, yo. Because he can't be having one droopy eyelid on TV, then people say he's got the pink eye next time. Or he's got athlete's foot in his eye. Okay, eye symmetry. That's a great question. It'd be helpful to see pictures, as there could be many causes. One of the more common causes is a mild stretching of the tissues that raise the eyelid, so you work a little harder on that side. As the day goes on, then it shows a little more fatigue. That could be true. Maybe Krusty's like rocking the eyebrow. Rocking the right eyebrow exercises a little too much. Okay, so then I looked up ptosis a little more. It's a drooping or falling of the upper eyelid. The drooping may be worse after being awake longer. So that's, again, fatigue. When an individual's muscles are tired. This condition is sometimes called lazy eye. But that term normally refers to the condition amblyopia. Okay. If severe enough and left untreated, the drooping eyelid can cause other conditions such as amblyopia or astigmatism. Okay, that sounds kind of serious. You don't want to mess with that. Oh, and then here's the guy. Although Krusty's eye wasn't that bad, because this guy's eye is pretty much closed. This is why it's especially important for the disorder to be treated in children. So I wonder if you have it since being a kid. But it doesn't sound like he's got that. Anyway. Okay. So I think, this is ptosis. Signs and symptoms that are typically seen in this condition include the following. The person's eyelids may appear to be drooping. Ptosis can also cause a person to appear tired from the droopy eyelids. Dry eyes is another symptom due to the eyelid's inability to function effectively, keeping the eyes from drying out. Obstruct vision may occur due to the sagging of the upper eyelids, which partially block the person's vision. I heard that happens in like basset hounds and shit. And like bulldogs, because their eyelids get so droopy. A person tilts their head back to speak. Tiredness and aching. Oh, yeah, so they can see, I guess. Well, Ryan Seacrest couldn't do that, because then people would be seeing his neck. And that would be no good. And then a vampire would bite it. Okay, tiredness and aching around the eyes. Eyebrows are constantly being lifted to see properly. Some of the risk factors that increase the chance of the patient experiencing ptosis include eye tumor, diabetes, history of stroke, cancer. Doubtful Krusty has that. He just has very nice white teeth. Now, this is something I found in my search, which I thought was one of the most fascinating things. It's called cat eye syndrome, and you can see this woman, I'm assuming it a woman, if not, sorry, sir, has kind of like cat-like eyes, like this creature here, though you can't see him. So anyway, because it's too dark. Okay, so it says, okay, wait, now it's getting, the disease can cause a notch or gap in parts of your eyes. Your doctor will call it a Columbia. Oh my God, that sounds like Columbia. There is another word from your conspiratorial lexicon. When it affects your iris or pupil, your eye might look like a cat's. You can also get Columbias in other organs. Ew, body parts. I wonder if I could get it in my elbow. I'm always fascinated about things of the elbow or the knee. Those joints right there. And then I just said joints. Maybe it's because they're called joints. I don't know. Most of the time, they come from a problem in your genes. Well, my knee joints are in my genes. Get it? That results in changes during development and show up when you're born. What about when you're reborn? You may need a team of doctors to manage the different symptoms. Okay, so that was an interesting aside. Now, there is Ryan Seacrest with his lazy, glitchy, reppy, whatever-y eye on the night in question, and the cat agrees. And then, if you look at him here, you can see that his right eye is a little bit smaller, but it's not showing like the asymmetry and the squintiness. So, I don't know. I used to call into his radio show. I think I mentioned it. I don't know. He was always nice to me. But then there was like this video of him coming on to Katy Perry. It wasn't like sleazy per se, but it was just kind of unnecessary, and it was on camera. And it was like, dude, why are you even trying? Okay. So he's been juggling 3 or 4 on-air jobs. And if he's got insomnia, like, that's a bitch, man. And like he probably has a lot of, pressure. Like cuz I know my friends who've known him, like known him said he's really type A, and like he's always turned on in terms of like his personality. He's like, "Hey, I'm Ryan Seacrest." So it's probably not, well, I mean, I don't want to speculate, so I'm not going to go there. So 3 to 4, and he's in need of rest. So I hope he got some rest. So, then there was one other video, it was one of those cornball, I mean, it was kind of good. It's one of those cornball spooky videos where everything's in slow motion and the videos are kind of blurry and they play like kind of creepy music. So this could just all be for effect, but I thought his face looked really interesting there. But, and that doesn't even look like him at all. And then he's got the cat eyes going on there. But I don't like to say cat eyes. I like to say reptilian eyes. So that all looked kind of weird. And then we've gone back to Serene Branson. So that's the Ryan Seacrest thing. I don't know if you guys saw that. And then I got one more weird oddity for you. Okay, so then this last video just kind of blew my mind. And if you can see up on the left-hand top-hand side of the screen, it says Control Shift Face. And at first I didn't know what it was, but the more I watched the video, the more I knew. So now this was an interview on David Letterman, obviously, with Bill Hader, who looks like a happy pixie man. Look at his happy pixie man. Although, look at his left eye. His left eye looks really small, too. He could have been in with a little MK Ultra, because he don't look exhausted there. Or maybe he's got some ptosis. Oh, God, I just woke up the cat by doing that weird sound effect. Sorry, baby. Sorry. You got the big eyes. All right. So, anyway. So, Bill Hader's there. He looks like this, cartoon character like alien in this book I once read, kind of like the Great Gazoo, which is weird. It comes around full circle. And speaking of full circle, look at David Letterman. He looks like he's shifting and shaping and repping out back there because he is all blurred out, and Bill Hader just looks like a fool. But anyway, so Bill Hader is talking about like this movie that he worked on. Couldn't have been too new because this is Letterman. And he was imitating Tom Cruise and Seth Rogen. And I was watching it, and I didn't really know what I was watching at first. But it was so weird. It was like seamless. So there's Bill just talking to Dave, and he's just kind of looking at him. And then he starts imitating Tom Cruise. And it's like you don't even see the change. It's like so seamless. I mean, you want to talk about the Mandela effect and things being shifty and shape-shifting before your eyes. Like, this is a technology that can do that. Now, obviously, most Mandela effects do not shape before our eyes, but, and I don't know if it would have anything to do with the Mandela effect, but if they can do this shit, make Happy Pixie Man with the uneven teeth and the small left eye look like Tom Cruise, who they say has a totally symmetrical face, but I think he has kind of a pointy, bumpy nose. Well, they say that Tom Cruise is so handsome because his face is perfectly symmetrical, which it doesn't seem like that to me. He has kind of a pointy, bumpy nose, but it's like, but big noses are kind of masculine, so. But anyway, he just turned right into Tom Cruise. They didn't have to change his hair color, which is good. And then the next thing you know, yeah, he turns right into Seth Rogen. Like, but you don't even see the change coming or happening. So it's really fascinating. I'm definitely going to leave that video down. Most of these videos are like 3 minutes. The Ryan Seacrest video is 1. And then there's an extra Easter egg bonus video I want to show you guys. But anyway, this technology, I mean, who knows if it's got anything to do with the Mandela effect. But obviously the deep fakes, man, because that's what this is. This is a deep fake. I think this was done via the CIA too, just like the MK Ultra mind control and the small eye of Bill Hader and the shape-shifting capability of Dave Letterman, perhaps. Anyway, tell me what you think, tell me what you know, and peace out.